We've all felt the sensation of a conversation that just works. The timing is effortless, the responses immediate, and you feel understood without explaining yourself. Contrast that with the clunky, exhausting interaction. Pauses feel long, words bounce off the other person, and the exchange becomes a struggle against misaligned energy. This experience is built on measurable data. Researcher William Condon analyzed conversations and discovered cultural microrhythms. During successful interactions, speakers naturally harmonize vocal pitch and equalize their latency period, the exact fraction of a second between one person stopping and another starting. Because the stance happens below our awareness, these interactions often feel entirely outside of our control. But these rhythms are the result of specific, repeatable behaviors that can be observed and understood. Building rapport intentionally begins at the physical and auditory layers. By observing a person's behavior and adopting a similar stance, you signal that you are operating in their world. However, you must avoid outright mimicry. People instinctively sense when they are being copied, which breaks trust instantly. To build a connection discreetly, communicators use crossover matching. Instead of mirroring a movement exactly, you sync with your partner by matching one of their physical rhythms using a different movement of your own. You might observe the rhythm of someone's breathing and then subtly tap your finger or make a small, deliberate hand gesture at that exact same pace. You are matching their internal frequency without mimicking their external posture. This applies to purely auditory environments as well. If you are on the phone with a fast-talking client, you can establish a baseline of connection by matching their volume, adopting their speaking speed, and mirroring the duration of the silences between their words. Matching these environments bypasses conscious suspicion. It signals to the other person's unconscious mind that you are a safe ally, even before a single word of substance is exchanged. Once the physical baseline is set, the connection moves to a psychological layer. People process information using different sensory languages, known as predicates. These are the specific word choices that reveal how a brain is filtering reality. This diagram illustrates how these languages diverge. On the left, a visual processor uses keywords related to sight. In an office dispute, a visual manager might complain that a team member isn't seeing the big picture, or that the objective isn't clear. On the right, a kinesthetic processor relies on physical language. This team member might respond that they are trying to grasp the details or feel out the situation. The border glows red because even if they agree on the facts, their language styles are clashing. These two people are operating on opposing frequencies. As the nodes overlap, the friction disappears. To resolve the conflict, one person must adjust their vocabulary to match the other person's specific processing style. By identifying a counterpart's keywords and feeding information back in their preferred sensory portion size, you create a baseline of trust that the conscious mind doesn't even think to question. There is a risk to being highly skilled at this synchronization. The yes person often finds themselves overloaded with unwanted work because they are so locked into rapport that they cannot find the friction necessary to say no. To protect your autonomy, you need the countermeasure, mismatching. This is the deliberate, tactical severing of a connection to establish a boundary. You can break a looping conversation by doing the opposite of what built it. You break eye contact, shift your distance, or angle your posture away. Like separating the threads of this cable, you are detaching from the interaction without having to escalate to a confrontation. You can mismatch audibly as well. When faced with a loud, aggressive talker, you can intentionally drop your vocal volume and slow your speech rate. By stretching out the pause before you reply, you force the interaction into a new rhythm. Mismatching is a vital tool for setting boundaries. By deliberately breaking the sync, you assert control over the pacing of a situation, allowing you to stop a conflict before it triggers a defensive reaction. Human interaction is a dynamic system. By observing physiological and linguistic data, we can adjust our inputs to directly affect the outcome of a conversation. This entire system is governed by a single rule: pace, then lead. Look at the flowchart. You cannot influence someone until you have paced them. In the pacing phase, Circle A imitates the state of Circle B. You match their posture, sync with their breathing, and use their specific vocabulary to meet them exactly where they are. Only after that rhythm is established do you enter the lead phase. Because the two are now linked, as Circle A subtly shifts its trajectory, Circle B follows it toward a U position on the grid. Effective communication relies on a precise reflection of someone's world. By meeting a person exactly where they are, you create the conditions where they willingly follow you toward a new outcome.